It's already being recorded.
No, I'm gonna actually record it. I don't know what it records. It doesn't necessarily record that. It takes notes and then it
Okay.
pops out there
I'm
sometimes.
looking like Lionel on this video now.
So, obviously, the main reason
Is
we're
Alex on the call?
yeah, Alex is on the call.
Hey,
So
Alex.
I'm just gonna kick it off to give an overview of a couple of things that have to do with the call, and then Alex is gonna probably spearhead the rest of it. But I do want to kick it off with an octopus discussion. And the main reason we're obviously talking is the PNG discussion that we have next Thursday has got to be airtight, very, very airtight pitch. So that will entail also Kayla and design and all that stuff, Rachel. So I think, it's important for you to be here from the perspective of the business side, but also designing this, making it look cohesive, etc. So let me just show you guys real quickly my octopus.
And when are you planning for her to jazz this up? It takes her a minute. She's not like,
So we're doing this presentation on Thursday of next week. So we got a week, or a week and a day.
but when is she getting the assignment?
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, no, this a lot. Some of this is very simple. So let me just start off with something that I actually this is more like an open-ended this point that I'm going to ask the question for you guys. So in the defining what shows we have, we're not defining them by length so much as by whether something is a standalone original, like Gold Diggers or Vampira or Cholita Texale, which is not necessarily going to be a series. Is all of these can live inside other channels that we create that we're going to give a fun name to, or in the case because they're more elevated and they're like a bigger piece of content, a really bigger piece of content, they can have just their name and it's like a Minivela original. Yesterday when we met with Piera, Alex and her were saying, let's just call everything a show, right? Even if it's one series that starts and ends, and that's it. It's going to end after 45 minutes or an hour and a half. Uh, should we, we should consider calling everything a show and then putting everything under a show name. Like, so for example, um, La Mala Suegra, everything that goes under it would be part of the show, right? Instead of a playlist. This is a big distinguishing difference. YouTube calls them playlists, but we've got to call them show. My question is, do we call, let's say that we did Gold Diggers, which is like a 70-minute thing, or Vampira, or even a longer version of Cholita.
Manny,
Do we call those originals or
Ma-
everything is show? Alex.
Manny, I wasn't saying anything about playlists for on YouTube. It lets you group them by playlist so that when you're watching one, it leads into the other. That's why they're playlists. That should remain that way. I'm not sure. I don't want you to conflate that. We're saying what we're saying to college shows that I don't want you to say, oh, this one's more film like, this one's an anthology, this one's a series. No, they're all mini vela shows. They're all mini velas, and
Yes.
everything that we distribute on social is episodes. That way, it's super simple.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Pilots
You were
and
saying that yesterday, Manny, that on social it's just episodes.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, but for YouTube to separate it like that.
Well, for YouTube, we're gonna give them more dynamic name. Like I know Alex has never liked Strange Happenings. We're gonna give it a more clever name. And every story that's kind of funky and weird, and like the ride or die stuff like that, it'll go under a specific name for that. That'll have a uh more of a name. Like La Mala Suegra is a name.
Hmm.
Right? So
Manny,
rather than
for
generic.
for somebody like an investor or P&G in this case, I think you got to look at them as IPs.
Oh,
But Alex had a reaction. Alex?
our communication needs to be simple.
Well, no, I'm just saying, in terms of he's got it there as a what were your terms there? But at the end of the day, for, what we're talking about here for P&G. They want to know on this particular Minivela, which is an IP, what is their return going to be? And how many views is it going to
But
get?
let's talk about that later, Rob. Right now, let's just
That's what we got on the call, right?
yeah. No, well, we're here for multiple reasons, but I want to just put some facts
I'm
here
just
that you
trying to
guys,
focus.
yeah. Let's just look at this real quickly and understand it. So right now, this thing right here, this is called distribution of Minivela. This is currently, as of today, revamped and everything, what we consider what happens with the life of a Minivela. So this explains right here how it gets distributed on each of these platforms. And I put 1 to 10 episodes, even though some of them we're only posting the first 5 episodes because there's not 10 minutes, right? There might be a 6 minute episode. In that case, we might be posting 4 or 5 episodes of that, right? So this is unpaid, which is really what is ideal. We know that we need to try to get do some one-to-one type pay for the Minivelas, but this is exactly what happens with content right now. Bria has its own platforms, so we have established that for any Bria for any episodes, we can post up to whatever on the Viste Instagram account. We usually leave it there, just so you know, this is too many details, but we usually leave it there for 24 hours and then we take it off from that account. Nuestros Stories will take one episode of, we'll typically take one episode of a new launch and we'll put that on the Nuestros Stories Instagram and TikTok account. And then collaborators, Aidita, Carlos Ponce, Storytime Guy. In the case of Storytime Guy, he will only post English language stories. So he'll post as many stories as we need for a launch, but only for the episodes and only for the English versions. Carlos is willing to post for us on Instagram and TikTok, but typically only one post per whatever launch, unless he's creating something organically, like a call to action that we would do something custom with him. That's more or less what his plan would be. And the actors and slash creators, we typically will ask them to do a promo with a call to action. And we now have a really good template on how to do that because we're following the exact template that Vix Micro and Real Shorts use. And we also ask them to post an episode post. This is all the organic stuff. Okay, this is what I'm explaining here. Then similar thing with the producers. Like in the case of Johnny, he's obligated to collaborate on all the posts on Instagram and TikTok. And if we wanted to, he would post it on his YouTube channel as well. So producers, they have to post even more than the actors and creators. Okay, so this is technically currently what we post. Now, the big difference is we have identified 13 different types of content that we're able to now, moving forward, generate from any Minivela of any length that we produce. And this is already sent to you guys. These are all by the way, these are all things where we can stitch in advertising or presented by especially on social. We have an opportunity with each of these to make them part of brand assets in some capacity or another for most of them. It won't apply to all of them because it doesn't look as cool with perhaps with a fan poll that we would do or etc. But this is 13 different types of ways that we're looking at every Minivela to extract and repurpose and repromote beyond the launch of a trailer and beyond the launch of episode posts. This is how we're approaching our episodes moving forward now. Okay, and then finally, the brand opportunities. The brand currently we've identified, and Alex, you can clarify this last point here that I wrote. But currently, there's 4 things that we can introduce to a brand. You can have a brand integration of a product. You can have presented by message, pre or post the Minivela itself. And then also you can have whatever message you want stitched into the social media video, or in some cases, it could even be at the end of a photo dump or something like that we want to post on social. We can also have the brand message there. All of this that's on social media is also very opportunistically able to be used as a media buy for social. And then finally are the ads, like the actual ads. We can put ads through YouTube, through BIPOC filter, and connected television. This is the range that I put here, 5 to 30 seconds. I'm not sure if that's correct, 100%. So this part I'm not 100% sure. And then finally, the part that we have been oh, sorry, let me just go to one more thing. Top right here. So again, this might just all be shows, but I've identified that I just wanted you to know where different parts of content live, because there are some parts of content that for example, what we're talking about, this therapist, I'm Your Therapist, whatever series, that one would actually be able to live on both YouTube in its entirety and on all the social media platforms because of the length of the content for those. So that's one of the benefits of those pieces of content. Okay. And then finally is this untapped, totally untapped, the 33,000 from Numatech. Will they free it? Will we have a future app at some point? Will we do a takeover of the Nuestra Stories YouTube? We really don't use YouTube. There's 10,000 or 11,000 fans there. It would be nice to have that sooner for us, for Minivela. It would help us more than it would help YouTube for Nuestra Stories. And then the Minivela website is a possibility of something we can do. And then, of course, production partners. That means if we produce something with somebody that has an app or somebody that buys media from us to put it on their channel, those are places that where we can additionally tap. But this is not as tangible and readily available as these two things that are currently our distribution. So I think that's it, right? I think that's it, guys. So that's my octopus presentation.
Okay, so I think this is great, especially when we talk about the big octopus there, the distribution model. I think that if we put that into a grid, to make it more presentable would be very helpful. I think part of it will also be, once we see it like that, where there might be holes. But I think that right after that, the other important part is the
This
no, the social media assets.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I can and yes. And you know what, Alex? We can have Kayla create samples of just we'll use Cholita, for example. We'll use Cholita as an example of this in every piece, so she sees every asset in action, how it would look like as an example. That way it's like tangible, like, oh wow, this is like the whole menu of all the meals and the entrees and appetizers that are available to stoke the engines.
So
Yeah,
I created that grid that you're talking about. I sent it to you a little while ago as a
yeah, I saw it.
spreadsheet.
I saw it. I had some questions, but yeah, similar to what you did there as far as the projected reach for those things. Again, I think that we'll have to qualify where we're getting those reach numbers from,
I took
because
that from a buy. It was like a $250,000 buy, basically. And I split up the reach between the 7 episodes. I looked at a 70-minute, just an example as a Minivela IP, whatever you want to call it, a pilot IP or a show. whatever you want to call it, guys. So I split it up so that we had 7 episodes and simple math across the board. I took a look at the CTV as well as I left I left the social a little bit different than the actual delivery for YouTube, and you could see the numbers. And then I tried to extrapolate what a return on investment would be. I don't know if you want to put this up there so we could all look at it.
What I was trying to get at is that I think that's that style grid. We have to talk about the numbers, but let's stick to the distribution here since we have it up on the screen. I don't want to jump in. That's less relevant to everyone on the call versus you and I talking about the dollar projections. So when we talk about in her in my interpretation of what she's asking, right? So that she sees how these things are rolling out. It's actually twofold, right? Because you bring up a good point, Robert, with respect to some of the numbers that you put there, that you put on your impression chart. Uh, you did that based on the support of brands, right?
Correct. Yeah, I looked at this as for one brand. So they would get credit for the advertising of one brand because essentially if we sell brands into this, they're going to be in all of our Minivelas, right? So this is essentially just based on one brand in one Minivela and going from there.
Yeah. What I was trying to get at is that there's definitely a when we look at the monetization projections, that's important. I think that we have to do a similar style grid, but just from, and that's why I like this, what Manny did here, because this is organic. This is without any brand, this is where the content's going to live, period. Right? The shows are going to live on YouTube. All of the episodes are being distributed on social, and then derivatives of those episodes as marketing, as all these other marketing assets. Very simple. That is very straightforward. There's no two ways about that. Does that make sense? So, and
Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing with the
no,
exception.
what I was going to say, which we have to do a version of what you did from an organic standpoint as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think top line, I 100%, we talked about this yesterday, and keeping it very straightforward, not only in the deck that we share, but how we speak about it.
Yes. Yes.
And guys, I think when I get down to the nitty-gritty on this, what's crippled us is what Pira was saying yesterday, is that we have had no advertising supporting posting. And so we went from one extreme of what we were advised by the YouTube advisors to the other where Rod just shut the freaking water, and that has had I think that's not been helpful to us at all because we haven't been able to do something that is, to me, now more apparent. It's the part of the mix. You don't just have one thing, you do both. But you got to do both. You do the paid in an intelligent way, in a very thoughtful way. And Rod just has cut us out on that discussion just because of whatever.
Okay.
It's interesting
So
because we shut it off on our own
I shut it
because,
off, and I'm in a way I'm glad I did, Robert, because
yeah, so am I.
I
But
think,
it's too bad we couldn't start it up again.
yeah, there's too bad that he
let's focus, guys. Let's focus. Let's focus.
Yes, please.
okay.
For as we present the product, the distribution, one thing that is I think we need to make clear, especially if we're presenting to them that with their investment in production of a show, where we've mentioned to them that it'd be 60 to 70 minutes. How many episodes are we talking about, right? Because if we're talking about that, we're making these 1 to 2 minute episodes. Are we doing 60, between 35 and 60 episodes and 70 episodes?
No, so yeah, well, yes. Well,
No,
no,
you
well, no,
cut
no,
out.
wait, Robert, hold on a second. That's a great question, Alex. So what I have yet to see
Let
is
me, let me give you an answer. So out of the 70 minutes, probably there's going to be 5, 6, maybe 7 hookies, some kind of passionate moments. So you could create a 60 to 2 minute episode on those hooks. You don't want to say, okay, the first 7 minutes, the second 7 minutes. In other words, look for those, what do we call it? Epic content or passionate content, whatever the heck the hook is, and you cut it down that way.
No, no, no,
So yeah, I'm confused by that because
no,
again, when you're thinking of the consumer experience, and when they're going and they're hooked and they're going from one to the next, are you saying that the story's going to jump around?
no, 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 no. So
Okay.
the no, Alex, let me take a stab at it and then we can refine it if we have to.
Okay.
So as of now, for example, Cholita was an example. Cholita was 20, I forgot how many minutes now, guys. I think it was 25 minutes. How long was it, Rami?
It doesn't matter, man. You just keep going.
All right, let's say Cholita was 25 minutes. What we did with Cholita would probably be a model for this. And that is we cut the first, I would say the first 8 episodes, and everything else that you wanted to see of the story, you needed to go to YouTube to see the whole story.
Okay.
So that's how I would do it. I would do 8 to 10 episodes with obviously full scale paid advertising behind this as well, which we did not do with Cholita at all. And everything else that you see here, I would even probably, for the sake of P&G and like freaking running up the score, I would probably add buys with other collaborators where they themselves are amplifying.
Again, we're talking about the organic distribution. You as a channel, right?
No.
If you're NBC, where are you putting
Oh
friends?
no, yeah, I would do 10. I would do no
NBC, you're
more than
putting it
10.
on demand. You're putting it in your socials. Your organic footprint. Where does this live, and how does it live?
Yeah, I would do 10 episodes plus all of the variations of all of the 13 types of posts. That's what I would do organically.
So, of the 70 minutes, you're creating roughly somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes worth of content. Again, could be 25, could be whatever worth of content that are being created into episodes, distributed across social.
Also, most of these cut downs would be literally between 45 seconds and a minute and a half. So that's how much drama we're going to pack into each of these.
I get it. But again, you're talking about a 60, 70 minute piece of 60, 70 minute show. Um,
Yes, and they're written.
you're gonna give somebody a heart attack if every 30 seconds there's a gunshot. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be realistic into what an episode looks like. It's not. It's that's why I'm saying that if the product is evolving, because we've never talked about 60 or 70 minutes until a couple weeks ago. Um, we got to talk about the fact that this would be all right. We're not creating episodes of the full 60 minutes. We're taking the first half, the first third, the first whatever, first 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and breaking those down into episodes.
How many did I practice?
Anything beyond that, they have to see on the channel.
Right.
That's
Right.
the way you're describing it.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me ask, is that the same way that my drama does it?
Yeah,
Or
my drama, the standard. Now I know this because we've had enough conversations and heard from Rio Shorts and other. The standard is they produce 70 to 90 minute episode story. They cut it down by up to first 10 episodes. The first 10 episodes are considered they call it the trailer, by the way, even though it's 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes of the story, they call it the trailer. And that is the only thing that they give away for free. Everything else is behind a paywall.
Okay. Now, here's the I love it, and good, bad, or otherwise, it's a structure. Let's build from there and let's talk about it. Great. So the only thing that I would say is that we are not a paywall, right?
Right.
We are advertising based. So the more opportunities we have for people to watch the content and follow the content, gives us an opportunity to run more ads.
Yes.
So again, I'm not saying that the way you're describing it is right or wrong. It's just a consideration that if we have to create more inventory to run ads, does that make a difference?
Well, listen,
No.
these 13 types of posts that I put here, they're very robust ways to promote the hell out of the show. And if we have the type of show that I think we're gonna go for, because we're not gonna we're gonna go Cholita style and the quality of the production and the team. I think people are gonna definitely follow it, and we're gonna need to put some advertising on YouTube for sure to make sure that it gets
Okay.
but
When you look at the organic rollout, you have 60 minutes worth of content on the show living on the channel. That's going to break out into, I'm just going to use a round number. It could be more, it could be less, depending on, but it's going to be relatively close to 20 episodes, all right, that we're putting across social media, and we're supporting those with ancillary, snackable sort of social media friendly content as promotion, right? All of that is, if people were just coming in and watching the show and there was no ads, just the product integration, that's where they would consume the content, period. Now we add the layer of, if there's brands supporting it with media, well, now that has to be almost, if it's one brand, two brands, three brands, four brands, that has to multiply proportionally, right?
Yep, I think so. That's
I
a
have a
whole lot
question.
of the same stuff over and over again, though, right? Just with different brands.
Quick question. Have you ever considered, say for instance, you have your base package, correct? Depending on the budget. This is something that's not going to fluctuate. Have you ever considered, if you have additional minutes, selling an add-on where you add more episodes on social? Because the more that the show is displayed on social, which your social media, Instagram, TikTok, especially, that's where you're getting the bulk of your views. So I would figure that the client would want the show to be displayed more. So whatever product that they're placing could have more views.
Right.
If you're already giving them 10, and that's on the base, is there an add-on where they could purchase for more episodes to be on social?
Yeah. So I wouldn't even consider it an add-on, right? Because
right.
if someone like P&G that's coming in and paying to produce the show, right? And let's say they have multiple brands running in the show. Forget about people buying media, right? It's just about the distribution of that overall content, because not every minute of the show has the product in it, right? It's just impossible. It doesn't make sense to say that every episode will have an integration, because you're not washing your clothes in every minute of the show. An example with Tide, or like what they're doing with the fabric softener in at the gates. So my suggestion is, or something like
Breaking up.
what we're doing with P&G, is that that full show is actually distributed by episode from beginning to end.
Well, yeah, we could do that. We can go beyond the 10 episodes, because in our case, we're not trying to get anybody to paywall. We could do that, or
right.
we can launch where you just have to go to the first 10 episodes, then we go to YouTube, and then after the week after, we can say, you know what, let's give people more of these episodes, and just and that then becomes even a bigger multiplier of more impressions and more views, because every time you post it on platforms, it's going to get more views no matter what, automatically.
So you something you mentioned there, something that brings up another question. Right?
You're cutting
When you're talking about,
you cut out.
let's say, just the,
Alex, you got to repeat it
hello,
again.
can you hear me?
You were cutting
out.
Say it again. Say what you were saying.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, now you better.
All right. So what I'm saying is, something you just mentioned right now poses another question for me. In that, when you're talking about those 10 episodes, right? For any other show that we put out, that we're just doing the first 10 episodes, are you bulk posting that so that all 10 episodes are available on social media at the same time?
Yes. Yeah.
That's odd because you're saying that you're doing 10 posts in one day.
Yes.
No, why would you do that?
That's the and I'll give you
I've been arguing with him about that.
I know. No, Robert, that's what Robert he did his best. He was wrong. Everybody uses this type of format. They post all of them. What they do after that, though, is very important, which is after that, they're posting actor promos with the call to action. Actually, before the thing, they're doing
Before it,
yeah, they're
like you
actually doing
fought all the time.
there are there are there are promos, there's actor promos, there's actually then the post at one time, and then there's memes that are done afterwards, and then
Yeah.
there's bonus content, and then there's other compilations that they do.
The advertising and the boosting, and it all basically goes for the first 2 days after they post everything to see if it's really making an impact, if it's getting engagement. And essentially they'll keep going if it is. They'll keep adding more
Who
boosts.
is they? Who is they?
I'm talking about like a Real Shorts or a My Drama or anybody that's really doing this
Even Vix
professional.
Micro, Vix Micro is super aggressive in how many posts that they do.
Okay, but again, I want to ensure that we're being clear that we have a different model, right?
Yeah, we're
So
most
I agree that the show should be available to consume at the same all at one time. Great as far as posting the show, but if we're going to maximize what we're doing for episodes, if we post everything in one day, that falls off. It falls off your thing.
Yeah,
No,
these
I
are
mean, hold on, Robert. Rachel, what do you? Is that weird to have posted
if
10 episodes?
I thought so too, but it's not. It's
But I don't want to compare it to my drama and real shorts. I'm talking about in social media consumption and the way that the algorithm we want to maximize it in the way that we want to draw out the experience so that if something is flighting over X number of weeks, are we and I might be playing devil's advocate. I
No,
actually don't know.
I don't like that when it's back to back like that. I've always been like, why are we doing that? And then I asked, because I don't consume that kind of stuff, but I asked people who do, and it just depends. But we do. There are other platforms, Manny, that they take an episode and then they're doing content based on that episode, and then you wait for like the next day for the episode.
yeah, but
Because the thing is, if you do all of them in a row, then we're going backwards again when we're
it's it,
promoting the shows.
yeah, but
See,
it
but we're talking about two kinds of episodes here. The
Mhm.
episodes that we do are these cut down promos, they're commercials. The episodes that the other guys are doing are, back to back 7 minute clips until they do the whole
there's
10
no
of them.
there's no 7 minute clips, Robert.
Well, they are. I mean, it's an episode. If they split up when these my dramas, they do 7 minute episodes,
Oh,
10
but
of them for a
sometimes
70-minute
yeah,
And
show.
also, Manny, what I told you too is that I understand that these other channels are doing that, but and once you're at a million
Oh.
subscribers, you can do whatever you want. But right now, you have to do what's going to work for the algorithm to get the community, to get the people. And then once you have the following, you can start going in and saying, okay, well, we're just going to lay it all out like back to back. I
we
don't think that that's the best strategy for a
I,
growing account.
we already followed that advice you just mentioned, and it bombed. And
When?
we were doing this until right now. We just until you just before you came, we were
Mhm.
spreading the episode out over days and trying to and it was not a good strategy. And I told Robert I did not think it was a good strategy, even though I agreed with what both of you are saying, because to me it was like it's weird.
Yeah, but we never really did it right, bro.
But yes,
I
we
mean,
did do it
we
right.
were broken. We didn't have collabs. We didn't push it. We didn't do
Um,
anything with any kind of
Look,
consistency.
let
So the
me
data we
let,
have is
let
is
me
not
just say
good.
something
And
here
also, you're talking about cholitas, which was different. Like the stuff now with like
that amazing
the
back to
first time Aelita is sharing actually the stuff that we're posting, and she's sharing the memes and all the fun stuff. She's not sharing the actual episodes. I don't know. I think it's just you can't judge it yet. You just
I think that this is what I recommend. Let me gather let me gather the facts, which I did gather in that humongous monster document, which I'm sure none of you read because it was
I
humongous.
read it from top to bottom, so stop saying that.
Okay, well, you're probably the only one that read it. I guarantee you, because it was like 100 pages.
Right, but again, even across those 100 pages, the same thing that I said. How that translated to what we were doing still was not it was a lot of variations of potential possible ways to do things, and what we're trying to land on is what is our model in distributing the content. And again, I'm not disagreeing with you saying that on Mondays we're going to drop 10 minutes worth of content, right? Which that might be 10 episodes, might be 5 episodes, and then the next day drop another 5. And then again, I'm not saying one at a time. I'm not saying that it's only the promotions. I'm just trying to land on something that makes sense for 70 minutes worth of content in our model, which is ad supported, not subscriber based, right? Because we don't care if they consume all of it on social media, as long as we're getting the impressions for the advertiser. We're not getting paid additional for them to go subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Agreed. Agreed. And I think now that we have this all on high alert as a central issue, let's regather this fact. Okay, I'll take an additional look. I'll point it out to all of you in a follow-up note, and we will make a decision. Let me just say this, guys, just so you know, I'm totally agnostic on this. I don't care if we're posting 5 episodes, 2 episodes, 1 episode, 10 episodes. I personally don't care. I just want to make sure that we're not too far from the expectation of how people are used to consuming. But I know that we have to marry that with how we're not charging people, right? Like these other people have a reason to do certain things the way they do. And we have a certain reason to make people do things differently. For example, here's an example. We've been talking about the longer ones, right? The longer, or let's call it the originals, right? Which are longer. But the concept that we were talking about today of my therapist, what is it called?
It's still a show, Manning. It's still a show.
Okay.
Don't need to separate originals
Yeah,
from
but
it. They're
what's
all
different?
shows.
What's different,
Because
Alex?
when you talk about seeing it all together in the line or seeing it as episodes, it's a show. It's no different.
It it is different in one.
It's not different.
It is different. Let me explain to you. Let me explain what I mean. It's different in that when we drop that on social, it's
Yeah.
only going to be one post.
Why?
Because it's one post. It can have all the 13 types of variations for promoting it afterwards or whatever, but it doesn't
But
get.
why break the consumer habit of consumption? If it's good content and they want to see the next one, give them the next one.
No. But I'm saying
It's shorter to begin with.
it's one episode. They're 45 minutes, they're 45 seconds to 1 minute and a half. So you can't cut that into
Yes, but it's a thematic that if you're trying to build a show like the therapy, like Roomies, like
Yeah.
Brooklyn Coffee Shop, like all of these things
I
that
would
we're talking about that
Gotta do
have
five
that
minutes.
each episode is self-contained.
right.
You still don't want to break the habit of them finding it. Oh, it's so interesting. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Go to the next one.
Yeah, I
You
know.
gotta do
But we're
five
not,
at once.
Each time they go to the next one, we drop another ad. We get more impressions.
What he's saying is to drop the season instead of dropping the episode. So you
Oh.
No, I'm
drop
not even saying the
bulk.
season. Let's say it's similar to the 70 minutes of a different type of show, right? If we say this in this series, we have great ideas for 10 episodes. Okay, follow the same model. We're going to drop the first 5 here, the second 5 here, whatever the model ends up being. But just saying that those in particular are going to break the habit of our channel is weird.
no,
Which, by the way, when we're talking about launching those episodes internally for the ones that are unattached to a brand, it has to be a little different than the ones that are attached to a brand. Because if Manny's saying that we will release all 70 episodes of the Minivela that the brand is participating in, you cannot do a one lump sum drop of 70 episodes. You're gonna overshow your.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's
So we need to find the balance of what is right for us versus what other models are doing. Because if we are going to create broken episodes that go over the course of the full storyline of 70 minutes, 60 minutes, then that can't be dropped in one day. Nobody's going to sit there and watch that. They might. Some people might have literally, they're sitting at the DMV and they might sit there and watch the whole thing.
Yeah, but
But
they see everything
the
over.
habit is not that, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. If we shouldn't create already internally all of these exceptions to break the model.
But I don't, what I'm confused about, Alex, is when we're talking about my therapist, okay, let me just for a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
My therapist sessions, my therapist episodes are in their entirety. One story is probably about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Let's just say that.
Great.
So maybe I'm confused. What is it that you mean in terms of how when we post it on Instagram, for example, how are you saying that would be posted there?
How are you saying to post the Cholita style 60-minute version?
In that case, no. That one I'm saying
It's the same.
no,
They're
no.
episodes, one after the other, after the other, after the other.
It is an episode, but I'm saying when we post, when we
It ends. It
Manny,
doesn't matter
he's
if it
saying
begins and
put
ends.
5 of them
Look,
up.
if it begins and ends, the logo comes up again. It's just another episode.
You're
The
just
same way
talking
that
about
someone,
one.
yeah, but
one
I'm talking about one at a
same
time.
way that someone binge watches a series like what you're talking about, like the therapy show on Netflix. It's the same thing. It's just another episode.
But what I'm confused about is, are you saying post several episodes at a time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, that's where there's a confusion
No,
because
there's no confusion. Everything is an episode. Whether it's 45 seconds long because it's a series like therapy,
I
or
get it.
it's 2 minutes long because it's an episode
I
of
get
the
it.
7-minute show. They're
Yeah,
all shows. They're all episodes.
Let me throw something out at you guys. I was just talking to the Banda guys, Banda MSA, and
Robert, be very
listen to
careful.
this. Listen to this. What they're doing on Instagram and Facebook is having their own subscriptions. They get 100% of the revenue. So how that reflects us is Minivela TV on Facebook. We could handle it like it was an app. So we show the first episode, and if you want to see the rest, you subscribe to Minivela Facebook, and it's a monthly fee of $4.99.
Yeah,
So
but
it's a way of utilizing the followers that we get on Facebook and turning them into subscribers if in fact they want to continue to see the multiple episodes like we're talking about posting at once.
right now, Robert, this is very premature. I mean,
I know, but this is where we're doing the app analysis right now, but this could be something that we want to look into.
no, but right now we're talking about episode situation. I don't know where you came up with this Banda. Right now, it's an interesting idea, but right now we need to understand where we think is going to be the most advantageous way of distributing the episodes, right? Whether it's a shorter show, like every episode of this therapist one that we're potentially going to do, or whether it's a cholita, right? So, Alex, are you saying that we should probably bulk produce the therapist, for example, and whenever we post therapists, probably
So,
do 4 or 5 at a time where we post them back to back?
so I'm going to take a step back because you talked about production. This is agnostic of production because that's a whole other issue. We should not be producing in real time to produce today, drop tomorrow, and be behind the 8 ball all the time.
No,
Yeah.
we agree.
That
We have to
needs
work-
to be pipeline. We need to have a development. We have to have pipeline stuff that's in the can so that we can develop a social strategy around it based on the full product. So if you have in mind that we only, we're not sure about doing 10 episodes of the therapist because we want to test it, and you're gonna bulk do 5, have the 5 completed, editing and all, and then say this is how we're gonna do it.
So is that how it's been happening? Because
No.
that it's been like behind, like you've just been producing and then it's like going up and the thing hasn't been fully fleshed out.
It's breakneck speed all the time.
That's been
Yes,
happening.
yes.
But you know
Yes.
that, Manny, like you have to submit treatments and are you doing like storyboards? Don't you have to do all that? Isn't there like a whole
That's
Well,
fine.
we've been
beginning
on
to end?
we've been on a
Cut
bit of a
corners.
pause for a bit now, but yeah, we would definitely do now more bulk stuff, and I think Red pointed that out the other day. He thought that was a great way of firing up the algorithm, is to have a lot of stuff ready to go bulk post, like, and post it daily, even if we needed to for like a month.
So again, aside from the production thing, because we shouldn't be producing so close to air, right?
Yes.
It's always a problem because you're just not being able to pull all the potential levers when you see the product in its entirety, right? So whatever we decide the development pipeline to be, if there's 10 shows that we like and we want to put them into production, each one when they're finished, they go into the distribution model, because when they're finished, you're also able to look at it and put a more specific marketing plan around them, so that that long list of 13 things maybe doesn't make sense. Maybe there's 3 things from that list that will be hits, and let's just lean into that, so that we're not spinning our wheels all the time.
Let me ask you this. I mean, do we want to even wait before we do any more of these larger productions until we get a client?
Of course, we don't have money to do anything bigger, Robert.
All right, well, you're already talking about producing X, Y, and Z productions right now,
No, we're talking about the therapist, which is literally,
which is X, then you're talking about Y and Z. So essentially, we've got a bunch of things that we could produce, and we certainly can, but
no, there's some
we've
things that
got
we
to
can
wait
do.
for the client to tell us what products they want us to integrate. We've got to wait until we get an advertising schedule to go along with the release of these things.
Yeah, we're
I
not
mean,
producing
let's
any
monetize before
outside
we produce.
outside of these very, very short mini velas, the microvelas, whatever. We're not gonna we can't produce anything larger right now. We just don't have the funds to do that. And we wouldn't do it anyway, because I would not want to waste some of these larger stories
Some of these
without
great ideas, yeah,
a
on
grant. Yeah, that's exactly it. Cholita was an exception. Cholita has been a
a
great
marketing tool.
marketing tool for us,
It's too
absolutely.
bad we didn't put some dollars behind it.
And even then, Cholita still performed very well. Which, and by the
Yeah,
way, Cholita could still be amplified.
it's
We
good
don't.
content.
But Cholita has not gotten its advertising debut. So if we want to in the future, we can put it. I see content. I don't know if this happens to you guys in your feeds, but I see content recycled that I'm like, oh, I saw this like a couple months ago. Now it has a promo.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Happen. So Cholita is not. Don't consider that Cholita's had its full life,
Of
because
course not.
it could definitely still be accompanied by advertising. I think
Okay, now let's recenter the conversation, because whether we're able to produce it today or in 3 months, that we this plan has been pending for 11 months. So let's nail this down so that we can create a pipeline of the things that we want to put in production when possible. And even if there's some of the things that fit within the current budgets, like what Aidita's doing and all this other stuff, that again, I don't think that there should be an exception to the way that we are looking at the programming. The one-off stories that are 2 minutes long and then go away and do nothing else for us, to me, has not shown any level of success, and that's what we should lean into.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'll go back to the feedback that I shared with you guys from Carlos. That to him doesn't feel like what he had in mind when he partnered with us to launch Minivela as the type of programming that we're putting on the channel. So if we take a step back, and some of those ideas that are maybe in pipeline with Aidita, how do we make those into shows, and what are the relevant episodes for those shows, and then look at it that way.
so. To clarify, Alex, Carlos was thinking of melodramas, that there would be
So
more.
it's not that they all have to be melodramas. That's
That-
not what he said. Not what he's saying. In fact, he likes the fact that our ideas are not just melodrama, but for them to be these one-off 45 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minute skits feels like an influencer channel, not a
not
channel,
not
not a channel that's building up equity
Yeah,
like channels do.
yeah.
but
I was telling you, I like the Aidita ones. Does everybody not agree with the Aidita ones? Because I like those.
What I think the model that Carlos was sold is that these mini Bellas, so it's like a series, right? Like that you have.
That's how I feel when I watch the ones that she's creating, no?
Exactly. So
So
some
the
of those
difference,
her stories, I feel like they're man, that should be more, right?
Yeah.
So if we look at that and say, and they don't have to be 60 minutes and they don't have to be 20 minutes, but if that story that she's working on, right, ends up being 10 minutes and we're creating 5 episodes that are 2 minutes from the 10 minutes, her storylines to me are perfect for that. We just have to mold it so it feels like they are shows and not skits. Hers
Yeah.
are the ones that feel less like skits, especially compared to Red, because that's Red's style. I get it.
Red stuff feels like skits.
wait, but let me clarify, guys. What we've been talking about for the past week regarding Brooklyn Coffee Shop and Roomies,
Yeah.
it is a show. That's
Yes.
the direction that we want to have. We want to have basically the cholitas of the world, and we want to have this type of show, which they are short, but they're not a skit because it's a continuation of a character.
Manny, what is the difference if it ends up being a 10-minute show that has 5 1 minute or 2 minute episodes? What's the difference of it having to be 60 minutes versus a show that is episodic, that each one is a minute? Why the like complication of making the length the problem? That's why I'm saying that at the end of the day, there's an idea. The idea is a show. That show has a story arc, regardless of length. We take that length and we cut it up into episodes that we drop on social. That seems like the most simple thing on earth if you look at it as they're just individual ideas that we are producing to create a show. Period.
So
We've
is the
shows up in the episodes
is,
that go out on social.
is my therapist a show?
Yep. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with you. The concept of the therapist, that's a show. It's going to go over 10 episodes. Each one's going to be self-contained with a beginning and an end, and we're going to put out 10 episodes of that on social.
Okay.
Why is that complicated?
No, I don't think it's complicated. I just want to make sure that we're
But when you liken it to the other stuff, you're like, no, that's different. It's not.
Rame, are you clear on everything that Alex is saying?
I'm perfectly clear, and I'm glad that at least we're having the same conversation on opposite ends because this is what we've been discussing when we meet.
Okay.
And from what I'm understanding now from this feedback also is that the microvelas that we were putting out, that's what was not being watched and observed the same way that Manny had envisioned it, and it's because they were standalone, so they have more the skit, especially when Red is in it, right? They have more the skit style like type of
So
content.
here's where when we first started talking about those, when we were in the room with Red at Pierre's house, and we started talking about that type of content to become like test content, so people can drive traffic to the channel. To me, that was a marketing stunt. That's a marketing
Yes.
tactic
And it
to
never
get.
worked because we didn't
Those
create
are
it
not
enough.
our shows. That's like a promo campaign. This is the type of thing that you can expect from us, and have a bunch of them that have nothing. One has nothing to do with the other. Again, I'm not saying that we should even consider that as the programming anymore. I'm saying that when we were talking about it as to help drive traffic as a stunt, great. But now we we jump to that without defining the product. What is the actual programming of the channel? So when you look at our channel on a daily basis and a weekly basis, and someone goes to the Minivela channel on YouTube, or someone goes to the handle, there's a certain expectation of what they want to see. And if they fall in love with the show, they're following the show. If they're you know what I mean? Like it's we're taking the concept that's hundreds of years old that the broadcast television started, and bringing it into the digital format. And I'm not just talking about telenovelas. I'm talking about any show. NBC Love American Style versus Friends versus something that has a story arc that goes over 5 seasons. It's all the same. They're all shows that the viewer experience is as episodes. Period.
Yeah, and I just don't know why there's any confusion, Rami, that you were confused, but
You're the only one confused, Manny.
no, hold on.
No. What I didn't, what I
I have
didn't.
been very clear, and the reason that you guys even came up with this therapist thing is because I said, here's other concepts that we've been talking about, the principle, the whatever, the tour guides, whatever. So those are all the same type of animal that we're talking about here. They're very much in the Brooklyn coffee shop style, in the roomy style. Those are all, that's exactly what I said that we should do on an ongoing basis, whether we have a client or not. The
But what I'm saying is that that's not the only type of show. Shows should be just if we have a good idea for a show and we develop it and we have the money to produce it and we create it and cut it into episodes, it's the same thing. They do not have to all be self-contained 45 to 1 minute pieces of content. They could be serialized to where you go from one into the other because the drama of it takes you into the next episode, takes you into the next episode. That's or
That,
the
and
or
that's what I was noticing with the Aidita one, the one with the mesero. Like I totally got into it. And some of the none of the clips are the same length. They're all different. But
that's the beauty of
each
digital.
episode, yeah, she knows she has the hook. Like I was saying to you, you have the hook in the beginning, and then it takes you to the story. Like, I'm paying attention to this stuff, and I'm not into any of this stuff. And I was like, I
Oh,
really
sure.
got into the characters.
Well,
So-
that's also on the way that you're chopping the cut because you have to.
Right.
The way that Aidita's filming, she wasn't writing for the microvela cut. So
Okay.
the microvela is just the length. Now we're talking about that each micro. The way that we were doing it before is that each microvela was just a standalone, and then it ends that 1 minute and a half. Now we're talking about that it's still going to remain the microvela length, but we're going to have a series which could be the same as a show. It just has a lot of episodes. But
Oh.
Aidita, the way that she was, we are going to now intentionally write to have the cut be precise with a beginning and a hook and an end. Aidita was just scripting to make a minivela, which is the entirety of her minivela. So it was going to be the 15 to 20 minutes. We have to find then creative transitions or moments that happen in her minivela for us to cut it, so it
Okay.
actually leaves you like it feels
Well,
like.
it looks like it. It looks like it was.
That's
It
because of
limited
the edit.
itself to do it.
That's because
you
of
know?
our edits. That's because of our
Mhm.
edits. But
But
she,
the other
that's-
ones don't have that.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of digital.
They're
They don't
real
have to
ones.
be they don't have to be in 22 minutes of content to fit a 30-minute format on television. If the drama moment comes at 2 minutes and 17 seconds, that's where you end it.
Yeah.
And that's one episode. It doesn't have to be, oh, every episode is a minute or every episode is 45 seconds or this is different because they're not. The concept, the idea is the show. The episodes are regardless of the length of the cut, what we're putting on social media from one to the other, so that people go from one to the other.
All right, guys, we're supposed to be talking about P&G and what.
Oh, Robert, no, we needed to talk about the products so that we can prepare for P&G
Okay, so
because we don't want to jump. We don't want to jump one into the other because that's what keeps happening. Because so now we're still the question. Okay, of the 70 minutes, have we decided that we need to do episodes for all 70 minutes because of being an ad supported platform versus a subscription platform?
well, look, Alex, I think that the answer to because that one's a bigger animal, right? The one that we pitched there. Although we gave him the Love Latino style, that's very much in the Brooklyn.
It's still a show.
I know, but every
Forget that I said 70 minutes. Every episode.
Right.
Are we saying that whatever show we work on together or work on for ourselves, that because we are ad supported instead of subscriber based, that the entirety of the season, the entirety of the story, however you want to describe the show, is released as individual episodes on social?
yeah, I mean, I've got a broader concept for this, but I think that's the way we're talking about doing it.
I do think that in this case, because of the, because there's a longer one, right? And typically no one to now, that to my knowledge, no one has cut and placed and posted 70 episodes, right? We should look at what our model would be for those where we would have normally, like if before this conversation, I would have said we'll end it at episode 10 in terms of whatever posting we do, whether it's a bulk posting or whether we separate it by a couple days altogether from 1 to 10 or whatever. We're saying here we're open to doing more, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that approach either. You per se, we need to like gather some more information.
70 episodes?
What episode are we gathering? I mean, I'm sorry, what information do you feel we need to
I
gather?
want to analyze. I want to analyze based on your question about why we could or we shouldn't justify posting the first 10 episodes at one time, right? That bulk post, which is used almost like the premiere. It's treated almost like a Friday night premiere of a movie, is what I've seen on social. This is why they post so many episodes that week. And then all the other promo stuff is to keep the momentum going and keep people checking and all that stuff.
I'll tell you, having a large number of episodes, right? Whether that be if they're 2 minutes long, let's assume that there's 35 episodes, right? And you're dropping 6 to 8 episodes any given day, right? Based on a schedule, that to me feels more consumable, right? Now you're putting out 10, 12, 16 minutes worth of content that someone could potentially follow, and if not, go to the channel to see the whole thing, right? And that also extends what we can do as far as surrounding the content to promote it, because there's brands involved, right? So we want to figure out how to go beyond one day, one day's sort of, I was going to use a very vulgar term. I'm not going to say it. So let's think about that, right? So let's assume 60 minutes. I hate 70 minutes confuses me. 60 minutes, nice round number. It's a 60-minute show. We end up producing 30 episodes because they're 2 minutes long. And we have premieres on Fridays. That's when new shows get launched. So over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and again, I'm not saying these are the best days because I know weekend consumption is what it is, and I don't know if it goes up or down on social for this type of content. But let's say we Fridays our premiere day. We drop 6 episodes, or 8 episodes on Friday, another bulk of episodes on Saturday, another bulk of episodes on Sunday, and then we spend the time over the next week with the meme content. I'm just trying to give it some sort of structure.
Yeah, and I have had calls with Rame, Rachel, and the rest of the team, showing them the strategy of how VIX handles such a bigger story, and how they'll do like a bulk number of posts, and then in between they'll post a meme thing, and then they'll post more right after it, or they'll even have another show that comes in, but then they'll go back and re-promote a show that they already had promoted with a couple more posts. Like they don't just have it all bulk taken up. They will have it for that day taken up, a lot, but after they continue promoting it, they're mixing other promotions of other shows and even other bulk posting of other shows as well. You got to look at do me a favor, Alex, if you don't mind, so that you can see a little bit of Real Shorts and VIX Micro. I think that they've set the standard for stuff that is most directly related to us. Look at their TikTok channel. Don't look at their Facebook. I mean, their Instagram as much, because on TikTok it's easier to like just scroll through it quicker, and you'll notice patterns about how we might consider posting it. I'm open to whatever we think as a group collectively here. This is one that I don't feel like, oh, it's got to be the way that I think. It's got to be that I think we have a consensus like that. It makes sense to post it this way or that way. The experiment that we did with Robert's recommendation was a disaster. I do think it was probably.
What was the recommendation? I'm confused by that, because to Robert's point, I don't think we ever did anything with any level of consistency.
With Robert, he was telling us that when we post an episode of Aidita, to let the next day or 2 days go by and then post the next one. However, we haven't had budget. Listen, however, we have not had marketing budget. Let us not lose sight of that. So we don't really have
You never answered the question that he asked. What recommendation are you talking about that
Your
was
recommendation was not to do any bulk posting for a new show, for a new Minivela, but to separate it, to divide it by
I told you to do pre-posts and post the day of and post the after.
and post
Yes, it was a
afterwards and do
complete
that
promotion.
separated over the whole week.
And I told you to wait at least 12 hours before you go live
Posted
with
the other
your
day.
YouTube. None of that stuff was ever done. I
Yes, we
mean,
did. We
it's
did
like,
what you told us, Robert. We did what you
yeah,
told us.
right. Uh-huh.
And I was against it. But I will also say that, frankly, we have
Just
not
like you put together the compilations that we talked about 5,000 times.
uh,
You know, Manny, I'm sorry, but
we have not done it, bro.
Guys, again, recentered. We're talking about new product and trying to make decisions. One thing that I was going to suggest, and this is not just so that it's a group decision and it's pulling it out of our ear. Is there any data that we can speak to about uh, average watch time, right? Or average time on a particular page, or for scripted content, if there's a nuance as to how long someone will spend on social watching. I don't know if there isn't. I'm asking Rachel. I don't know if you know of something, or you know somewhere we can dig it up. That might be kind of interesting, or maybe it's just asking, Gemini or whatever, if there's
Yeah,
anything that out
there is. Uh, Alex, we do have information about watching. I think we do
Okay,
have.
what is it? What is the average watch time for scripted content on social?
We have some. I think we have some numbers that have been presented to at Real Shorts presentations and others that they talk about the average watch time or engagement. There's some sort of data. I don't know that I don't remember right offhand the data that they have for it, but there is some preliminary information that has been cited about the dynamic of this about these mini microvellas. I mean these.
Is the length, if in the general gist of what you might remember, is the length something relevant to what we're talking about that goes over 5, 6, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes in
It
that?
starts declining. It starts declining as we just would look. I was looking it up for Jaritos. It started declining after 3 minutes. And then 4 minutes, 5 minutes for branded content was max,
Hold on. I
or something
I
produced
think
with a brand.
I think I have a link or two that I just finished organizing my bookmarks because I was for investor relations
But
purposes.
still, I'm looking it up here for TikTok, Instagram Reels. It's like no more than 60 seconds is optimal, 15 to 60. YouTube is 5 to 15, but it's,
Yeah.
I have an overall watch time hours in YouTube, which is 7,300. But that doesn't give us I know that there's a tab somewhere that would give you the fall rate. I have to find it.
Well, I'm
I
pretty
was
sure.
I was wondering if there's like anecdotally, or maybe an actual industry standard, because again, it's not like scripted content is new, right? It's been around for some time. If for this particular type of content, and maybe we base our decision on, all
Here it
right,
here it
it's
is.
not number of episodes. We try to stay relevant to this length. So if that's 5 episodes, if that's 3 episodes, that's the golden space that we look for, and then we extend that over a few days until we've dropped the full length of the show.
Look what I got for you here, bro. Because I'm always looking at stuff like this. I have something here that I'm when you. I have a really good post that has research. How the heck do I? Where do I share stuff? Chat. Here we go. Chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat. There we go. That's
Okay, do you want to open the one on the screen there so we can see it?
Yep.
Because again, I'm
Hold on.
maybe that's the better way to look at it versus, oh, for each premiere we're gonna drop 5 episodes. Maybe
Well,
it's not the.
I'm not sure that's going to be at that granular level what you're talking about in
No,
terms.
man, I'm not saying that it's going to be. That's exactly what I'm saying. That if they're saying that the average watch time, or even the longest watch time, right? I don't know. You can base it on whatever you want. For scripted content is 6 minutes. then let's say, okay, you know what? We're going to try to stay relevant to 6 minutes in the way that we're bulk dropping episodes. So if 6 minutes means that for this particular show, that means 3 episodes, then we'll drop 3 episodes. If that means 7 episodes, because they're each a minute long, okay, we'll drop 7 episodes. But using the length, the optimal watch length, as the reason why we would drop X number of bulk episodes at one time. Does that make sense? Is that rational?
That's rational.
So to give you the average view duration in YouTube, out of the 7,300 hours, the average view duration is 1 minute and 21 seconds.
Right, but that's with our current content where a lot of it is short form.
That is true.
I'm talking about from scripted content, right? Something like a Real Shorts or like Roomies or like Brooklyn Coffee Shop or like any of these shows that have an extended amount of potential viewing time. At what point are on average are people dropping it? And again, that may not exist. You think it exists on you think it might exist on that presentation, Manny? I'd love to, even if there's something to give us a roundabout reason to be, right? So it doesn't feel like we're just pulling things out of our ear.
Well, look at this link. I think there you might find something from here that's really helpful. You know, there's possibly, and I think I have another story, by the way, which is that should be really good. I'll text it to you as well, just so you have it.
Are we going to include like a calendar of upcoming productions, like talking back to planning these well in advance about like a series that's going to be coming up or anything like that, like a slide that has like
Yeah.
an image with a title? And I think we need to all sign off on what the content, like the
Yeah.
content is.
But we have had that before, Angela, but we haven't been able to update it because we haven't been producing. We literally have not been
I
producing.
know, but we still need to have what's in the pipeline, is what like Alex keeps referring to, and working in advance.
Right now, the only thing we have in the pipeline officially are IDITA. We have IDITA episodes and what we are doing is that we're repurposing now with the new logo and the new cut down style and everything that Kayla is doing, that we're repurposing our own content because frankly, we have more ways of reusing it and gaining, getting.
Nobody's seen it yet. Yeah, just might as well put it back
Some
out
people
there.
hadn't seen it. In fact, the first 10 episodes were the ones that Idita produced without us before us, I'm sorry. And those had never been posted on anything other than YouTube. And those are really good. Some of those are really, really some of her best. So we're actually going back to some of her best that were when we had no followers at all and reusing those.
And there's English speakers in Ecuador. She can't do any in English.
She had one English speaking guy and he just left.
Got kidnapped.
No, he just left. Actually, they're leaving because there is kidnapping situations. It's really serious, actually. It's not a joke. I will have, let me see. I have another story here that has stats from Financial Times, I think. Fast Company, sorry. There's some last year. So another good story that has probably some stats we can pull out. I'll text it to you, Alex, and I'll put it here.
But again, this is not for me.
No, it's
right. This is about developing the product, developing the grid that you are filling into as production, as content. So I obviously I'd love to to be able to editorially speak to, the reason why we do the things that we do, but the decisions to create episodes in a certain way, drop in a certain way, that's all content related.
It's been a lot of the decisions that I recommended recently in the document were based on observations from our competitors, some of which are not an app, are free, such as Dramatize Me and others, that there was like 2 or 3 that are free. And they were following very similar patterns of what my, Real Short and VIX Micro do. So I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to go back to it and give you a recommendation. Okay, let's suppose that we have, goal setters or whatever, goal diggers, or this other system. Which one? What is going to be the best way that we recommend that we launch the episode? Is it going to be with a launch of 3 really good episodes, and then the next day is another 4, and the next day is another 3? Like, or do we do a bulk, or do we do a bulk one day and then a massive bulk another day? Like, I'll give you a recommendation based on that, given the discussion that we're having here.
Hey guys, let me throw something out at you. For the P&G concept here, can we look at 2 windows of distribution? The first being that we go into partnership with somebody like My Drama to create that 70-minute product. And we put it out on My Drama first so that we got a chance at the $500,000 in revenue. And then the second window is Minivela TV, essentially.
Robert, that is a brilliant idea. I think if we position it to P&G, like, well, we got to first ask My Drama.
I don't think we tell P&G anything about My Drama, because that is a one-sided conversation right now.
Well, they're asking for a monetization model.
Right.
We don't have to say it's My Drama, but we could say in partnership distribution through an app.
Okay, so let's say they say tomorrow, you know what, we love this. Here's $200,000. What do we do?
What do you mean? What do
We
we
make the deal with My Drama.
What
No.
deal? They haven't said that they want to do that. They're okay that they're going to do anything with us.
Yeah. And the thing is, they're going to give us approve something, and they're going to expect us to have a tight timeline to execute it, right? So that's why I'm saying that we need to have a slide back to these are the ideas
Wait.
with a cool.
But guys, do not what Robert said out completely.
No, I love that as an idea, and this is especially relevant to what Angela just said. If we were to create a pipeline and have a series of ideas in the way that we want to elaborate them, by when we want to elaborate them, and what it'll cost, I love the idea of pitching it to third-party distribution places, because it doesn't just have to be My Drama. It could be CTV, it could be VIX, it could be any of those, because again, they're just shows that could air in a lot of different areas.
Actually, the VIX and
this is
all
like
Good
that
idea as a revenue model for the company,
Be
but what we're
third
bringing
window.
back to P&G has to be what we currently own and what we currently know.
I've been like more a fly on the wall here because I haven't been part of these conversations, but like having a pipeline, Manny, is like basic. Like you should have the seasons all fleshed out.
We have had a pipeline, but we've had to
Oh.
stop production because of budget reasons.
Yeah, but you still need to have the whole year's worth. Suppose a brand wants to see what ideas you have for the year. Or
We've
you
got
need to
like
have
6
that.
years worth of ideas. Don't worry, Rachel.
Yeah,
But they have to be, don't they have to all be like like in a like your for the year, like with a calendar, like these are the plans, even if it's just the Aidita ones for now, like where is it documented?
So look, what we're right now where we're at, which I'm glad you're asking. Right now where we're at, it looks like we're going to select some of our newer concept, like this potential therapist, right? Will be one of them. We'll probably need to have 2 other ones. I'm talking to the Visitors Bureau, for example.
How many do you have, let's say for 2026 for Aidita? How many do you have?
She'll have 4 in September. Oh no, we already have. How many do we have?
We do three per month, and we're booking her for 6 months.
So how many? So
So
per
18.
quarter, you don't have something where it's like this is the Spanish arm, and then the blocks that you can have other people coming in to fill in those slots, and then the slots that you have open for your own productions, so that you have it open.
We do 3. We do
Because that's where you start running into overlapping, and she's doing this and you're doing that, and there's no like what are the open slots you have for
So what we
brands or like your ideas that you want to pair up with a potential brand?
so what we have right now are how many do we have that we have not launched, Rame, of Edita? Do you know?
Right. But what Rachel is saying is that what we have right now and what we've had since December or January or November, whenever it's done, is just a running list of ideas.
Yeah.
We have not taken those ideas and put them in some or priority order, right? So that we have what a true pipeline is. This is moving into production. This we're gonna elaborate further the storyline, the characters, the whatever. And these are just they're sitting there. We don't have time for them yet. The ones that are in production, these are set to be done by X day, so they're gonna start going live as of this day. That's a programming grid and a development pipeline. How those things work together. Right now, we just have a running list of ideas.
We backed off the programming grid to see if we can bring some sales so that we could make these productions more
What programming grid do we have?
monetizable.
What programming grid do we have?
Robert, Alex, we have had minivelas we have like 3 scripts right now that we can produce, but they're all longer than the ones that we want to start producing now that we can more bulk produce. Other than Aiditas, which Aidita, we have like 12 or 14 ideas.
Okay, so think of what we talked about yesterday, right? If we're already spending X amount on Aidita, right? Let's ensure that we start to channel this product that we're talking about into the way that she's producing so that it fits on our channel. And those are going to be produced. Let's start programming them. Let's see how far, what are the ideas, what are the descriptions, put that on a programming grid so we know when those are going to start launching. And when we're able to start the other ones after they've been fleshed out and we understand what they're going to cost and what the timing is, and that way we have, because that's the other thing that P&G is asking for on the list, right? They want that. What does that process look like, right? To go from idea to development to casting to production to distribution. So that pipeline, that's a true pipeline, and then on top of that is the programming grid. Because once we've gone through the pipeline, now all of these are in the can. When are we going to start distributing them?
But
when does
the thing is what
maximize that we're not overlapping?
Who would be in charge of developing that? That's a project. That would be Rame.
I am
That's
directly
that's like,
this urgency. And yes, these are all things that I have gone into productions without a shot list, without a board, without anything. And
yeah, that can't, and many that
That's-
absolutely cannot happen. Like
Yeah,
this
that-
is
that-
why
they would
everybody's
die.
in chaos.
Yeah, exactly. It's just people, the P&G would just like run away if they saw how we
You
shop the
absolutely
stuff.
cannot. Everything needs to be extremely
With those kind of budgets,
organized.
you're going to have everything extremely tied down. Don't worry.
That's why Rame, like, I sent Rame, we've been communicating about a spreadsheet that details every single production we've done, what the cost is, how, what the social distribution looks like. Was it successful? No. Like, we need to really do an analysis of all the content we produced so far so that we understand like what we can do better, right? But from a budget perspective, timing, because also if we have proposal for, if they approve us to do something, they're going to want to see that we can execute it within a specific time frame, right? So they're going to want to see a timeline, a production timeline. Like, what does that mean?
Guys,
Yeah, and they're also talking to the other side of the fence, the brands, to see if they can get them interested in this.
guys,
So
when
If
we
you're
would
like
be more tight in terms of timing to meet their.
if it's between a brand looking at us and then going with like one of their Telemundo things, they're gonna go with the Telemundo. They have it already structured and like you have to treat yourself like you're that. When you're presenting your stuff,
we're
you have to
different.
act like that.
We're
we've
more
been, go ahead,
more
Robert.
exciting than Telemundo.
Huh?
What I'm saying is that you have to treat yourself more corporate when you're presenting to
Yeah.
these places, even if you don't have it like that. Just
We're
present it
we're
like you
gonna-
are, because
Rachel, that's the whole point of
Agreed.
this first call today, is to ensure that between now and Thursday of next week, when we're presenting this, that we have the most freaking kick-ass everything, and that it's airtight, as we said. So that's good. Look, Robert, you know that you got in my ear, and I'm not blaming on you on this. And you're like, Manny, freeze, no more productions, nothing else, all this stuff, stop. We can't do anything. We got to work with what we have. And that's been a reality. And this is not Robert. This is just a reality, and it's been kind of difficult to
Manny, again, you keep talking about producing more. We get it. We're not producing anymore. Let's take the time and now build the product correctly.
But we need to start putting this in a grid. We do need
But
to.
we're going to have new content because Adidas content's coming in. We're having an opportunity now to rebrand and restructure the things that we already did. What's the best way to do that so that it fits within this
Well,
model channel?
we are doing this, by the way, Alex. We are doing this right now with what we're relaunching and rebranding. We are doing this.
Can you start creating that
right now.
pipeline with and plugging in what we know Aidita is giving us so that you can see what slots are going to be open after that? I think once Manny starts to see what he actually has in something concrete, he'll start to be able to not feel like, I just don't know how you can hold it all in your brain. Like I'd have to see what we have and then start saying, okay, we have these areas open. And then you're saying you have these partnerships where people can provide stuff, start filling those in. And then what's left open, then you can figure out what you're going to do there. You're putting more pressure on yourself than you need to when you already have stuff that you can plug in.
Well, right
But
now,
you need to like see it in a pipeline, and I think you'll start to see that it's not as
right now,
crazy
that's the
as you
whole,
think it
that-
is.
that's the whole point of what Rame, Efrain, and you guys are doing, Rachel.
I don't know about the pipeline. I don't the part right now about plugging in I'm figuring that all out now.
Now, the
If
only
I know that, then we can do our job better too. You know,
That
so we can
pipeline is something that should be reviewed during our weekly status calls, right? So everyone kind of has a glance, like it should be a document that
this
has.
is what's happening up ahead. And then with those pipelines,
on the
Manny, then
drive.
we can see what would be like when you're pitching, like what would be the things that you can do to promote and market, and you can actually come up with a marketing plan. Right now, I'm like, we're just trying to figure it out. Like as they're coming in, that's not a way to work. And they're asking you for what's your distribution plan, what's your marketing plan, what's this, what's that. You can't develop any of that until you have everything laid out, the foundation. And that's why Rami's asking me for a calendar, and I'm like, I can't even give you one because I don't even know what you guys are producing or what's going to be out. I have no idea.
So what
So
you want, hold on. Now that you guys are actually transitioned properly into Minivela, because it took a couple weeks, right? For everybody.
it's
And
called a NAT chart, Gantt. If Rami could put something like that together,
Gantt
huh?
chart. Gantt.
Gantt chart, NAT. Gantt chart. If he could put that together for me, I'm sorry, my menopause. If he could put that together, I'm able to see better what you guys have.
You know what? That a Gantt chart, because normally a programming grid, right, for a traditional broadcaster is based on time of day,
Yeah.
for each day. A Gantt chart actually fits our type of content great as a
Mhm.
programming grid because you can just put the months of the year across the top, have a whole list of shows on the left, and then you start seeing in bulks
And
when those
Kayla's
things are
been
released.
developing those. Kayla, but you could just do it like even if on anything, but Kayla knows how to put those together in a presentation because we do them all the time for pitches.
Yeah,
so
no, a Gantt chart as the programming grid for Minivela should be something that we already look at or look at putting together for the content that we know is coming, which is Aidita's content, and have it fit into this structure that we're talking about being the model for the channel. And then we can fit into there all of this repurposing of content, how we're using it, right? And again, I don't know what they are, and I don't need to know what they are, so I don't need to for you to tell me now. But if those are going to be thematic, all right, this week the theme of this is whatever it's going to start going live second week of December, whatever that is, right? Fit into the Gantt chart that content that we're dropping as programming, not as promotion,
can
not the
include
13 memes and all
We
that
can
other
do
stuff.
one in Manny, we can do one in Notion. We'll do one in Notion and we'll share it with Rami and then everything should be in there. Because Alex, what we're doing is creating a Notion dashboard with everything there and there's a template for it.
That's great.
So just do that
We
and then we'll just
if we
plug
treat
it in
if we
there.
treat if we treat each show as a project in Notion, for example, it's perfect because you can literally follow it along the path from idea to development to pre-production to production to distribution. That's literally those steps are what every show that we greenlight should go through. that the long list of ideas that we have, the spreadsheet that's been living on Google Sheets since October of last year. If we go through those ideas and say we like this, we like this, we like this, and create a project for each one and say, okay, what's realistic here with this, with that, with the other. Like you're saying, like with the therapy one, where you think you might still be able to produce it soon, not right now, but soon. Already start okay, and we can take the next step in development, right? Which is building out the treatment, the characters, the tone, all that other stuff. All right, let's go into pre-production. Let's find the locations. Let's not book them. Let's find the locations. Let's find the actors. Let's find this. That's everything. Now we're looking at it holistically. Okay, now we know that we have some money. We're gonna go into production next week. We're gonna bulk shoot 5 episodes of the show to be ready to be in the can by X day. And within those is the steps for editing and review and all that other stuff. That is, I think, in fact, I think doing the exercise of a single show and taking it from idea to distribution as a project, so you see how it potentially works in Notion and the things that you can follow, that would be amazing. And even without Notion, if we just literally did it on a spreadsheet, you can do that too. There can be tabs for each step in the development process.
So I think that's what P&G wants.
That's why I was saying that we're developing a dashboard for you with all this stuff, but we've been trying to gather everything and it's been hard because I don't have any dates. I don't have a production schedule. I don't have anything.
Rachel, you know the conversation that we had for the social media
Mm-hmm.
and how Manny said that he will get back to us?
Mm-hmm.
I have to wait until Manny watches the Minivelas, lets me know which ones are the ones that he wants to be put out, which ones are the ones that are going to go in which particular order, because I'm not the decision maker. There's a lot of things that if it was just like, hey, you know what, just put it all together, all the content is going out either way, program it as you'd like, that's one thing. But he has to review them. He has to let them know if there's any changes. He has to let them know feedback. Manny,
But
have
that's
you
the point of pipeline, so you can build in that time. So you're not up against the wall to posting every time.
All right, so I need to watch the Idita ones that I haven't seen so we can get that.
Yeah, you need deadlines and you got to stick to those deadlines and then we need to know. And I know this is like your project, but you sometimes tend to over change and over edit things and sometimes and you're being the judge of this, which is if it's a female audience, I don't know why you don't have like a short committee or somebody, I don't know, but if you're the one finalizing it for an audience that you're not.
No, yeah, Rachel, I've been telling you guys that I would like for you guys to be involved. Look at all the decisions we've made recently. I said, no, we got to go with Rachel and Kayla and stuff. Like, definitely. Listen, you're welcome to look at the Idita ones. I'm glad that you
And
know.
I'm like, I get OCD, but like sometimes, you do have to get things done because what you might think is not great, somebody else might think is great. I don't know how objectively you're looking at things.
I have had a lot of things that have been distractions that have not allowed me to be as focused on Minivela, frankly. Take it as an excuse or not, but
But man, because you're trying to be business development, creative director, writer, like you're trying to there's only so many hours in a day. You're gonna have to
yeah, I've had to
pawn
do
some things off to other people.
I've had to do stuff that I hate doing too, just other stuff in the company and it's hard. It's hard, but I've tried to delegate as much as I can to Ramen, Efrain, and you, and I'm very much about letting it go and letting you guys take the bull by the horn on stuff.
So
So
I can let you know that right now we have at least 10 Minivelas from Idita that we have not published. And those are Minivelas, so they are longer than
Get
10
them
minutes.
up. Just get them up.
And the ones that she's going to be producing, we have no idea what the content is going to be. They usually go ahead and submit ideas. Manny views them, they brainstorm, he selects, and then they proceed to produce those selections month by month. It's not like if we have these pre-selected. If you tell me what ideas they're going to be delivering in September, we don't know what those stories are yet.
yeah, and they're very quick about it. They are very good on time and very, very good hardworking people to work with. I have to say that. So they've been very dependable. So let me summarize what I think are the next steps. unless Alex has another thing he wants to point out.
I just wrote right now to Brenda, who's I have a very, very part-time, I say very, very part-time because she's very part-time project manager who's doing this stuff. I'm assigning her and I'm CCing you, Rame, on the whole, I can't say it, Gantt chart.
It's a net.
Then
Gantt.
Gantt
It's a Puerto Rican.
chart. It's not coming out. Um, for her to start creating that. And then that way Rame can start plugging in as you can.
Copy. Thank you.
All right, so I'll watch the 10 IDitas that I haven't seen. We also will also, by the way, there's 10 that haven't been used that she's produced for us, but there's also a couple from before. There's probably 7 or 8 from pre-Minivela days that we haven't used either. So there's probably like 16 or 17 Minivelas of IDitas that can be programmed.
Right, that is correct. That we could put on a programming for social to be released. Yes, we still have to edit all of those. So that's why I am rushing to know which ones, because I also have to deliver this content for the girls that this is what they're going to be working with next week.
Right. And then I'm going to tackle the question about what our recommendation for that document for PNG is going to be in terms of the number of episodes or how we would space them for for stories that potentially have 60 to 70 minutes. So I will give you guys all the facts. I'm gonna do it more like, here are the facts and here's what I've noticed, and then we can make a decision on that. Again, I'm not stuck on that one being something that it's gonna be best that we all talk about that decision, from the social media team, from the programming team, from Alex, Robert, so I'm gonna do that research and I should complete that research pretty quickly. And then
Manny, is there
Manny,
anything
there's like
new?
sorry.
I'm sorry, I beat you. Is there anything new on the translation forefront?
Efrain is fiercely against it. I think Rame, what's your point of view on that, Rame?
I have not yet seen a copy that is of good quality. As far as the dubbing, you could have dubbing, but when it's not matched with the voice, that to me, I wouldn't be the ideal target to watch a content like that. I have no problem watching it in its original language and reading captions, but when you have a dub that is just off sync with the mouth, with the lips, it's just completely
Annoying,
Readable
right?
captions.
yeah.
So essentially, we're nowhere with technology right now. YouTube's not making the dub yet.
They're starting something. I'm just not sure where it's at, Robert.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be great to get this English and Spanish, obviously. That's what I was looking for.
So for now, don't count on it. But then the final point is, for the newer programmed Minivelas that we're talking about, the therapist, we'll try to see how that fits in the calendar as well. We'll start putting some of those concepts into a calendar for production and timing. So that'll be part of the Gantt chart thing that we'll start tackling.
You also have the what's happening, right? America.
Oh, we need to find out what's going on with Red, Robert. For now, let's just put that aside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything new with Hollywood? Chicano Hollywood?
He's waiting for us. Frankly, if we can do this PNG one and do it with him, I would love that.
And I think also too in this chart, since some things from the bottom need to be like brought back up to the top, we're gonna plug those in too to revive them as well. Like the ones that have already been done that maybe didn't perform as well in the beginning, we can like repurpose them or no?
Yeah, we're gonna archive everything. That's why we're relaunching.
Oh yeah, so many. Like
everything
you're already having a calendar getting filled.
yeah, he has material. I just need to know what he wants to prioritize and what order.
Rami,
Okay.
Rami, I'm gonna very likely just tell you to freaking take the lead on it, because I have a lot of other overwhelming stuff that is going on that's, my ADD is kicking in and I haven't even been resting that much. So let me let me tell you that I'm going to give you a lot of feedback, but I may just tell you to just take the bull by the horns.
Tell them.
Copy.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him a lot of insights about feedback on this, and then we'll do that. Okay. We have content. That's the one thing I can tell you. We do have content. We can get a lot better content now. We are definitely fine tuning. We're making a lot of great fine tuning. By the way, Carlos is available to shoot. He left me a message today. I think it was today. Yeah, I think it was today. And he told me, hey, uh, good news for you, not necessarily good news for me, but I'm generally available. I'm fairly unemployed.
Oh no.
Yeah, because after that, yeah, so he's looking for any opportunities, any gigs or whatever. Um, and he just said, hey, just you can basically we can use him if we need him. So I'd like to see if we potentially uh get some of these concepts done that would be very turnkey. It wouldn't really cost us anything while he's highly available. Because when he's not available, like he wasn't in the beginning of the year, it's a bear. It's
Maybe right now you should take advantage of his availability and talk about a show for the way of a network and
yeah, but
all that kind of stuff.
I'm not worried about Noel Network. I'm worried about Minivela right now, Robert. Let's
Well,
prioritize.
I mean both. Just look at that, but that whole
But let's prioritize right now
thing, Carlos.
to where we need to occupy, which is Minivela right now. But yeah, I'll definitely. I just wanted you guys to know that he's highly available for now. So that's something that I also keep top of mind. All right, Alex, maybe after tomorrow's team call, we might have other follow up here, but I think we covered a lot of ground here and have some next steps that we owe.
Well, the next step is with Rame and Brenda to start working on that. But Manny, your next step is what are you going to let go of and give to Rame so that we can start moving forward?
Rame,
Because when you're the bottleneck, it's a domino effect down to all of us.
right, Rame, can you do me a favor? Make a list of where I'm a bottleneck, whatever items a bottleneck, and I will unbottleneck.
You already have it. It's in your WhatsApp, and I already pinged you on it.
Okay, all right.
Your bottleneck on the
That's at least
bottleneck
for social
message.
media. For social media, but
Oh.
aside from what you have there, is to watch all of Iditas. If you want to watch them, if you want to provide feedback, if not, we program them and they go out as is.
Yeah, and we're training Aidita. By the way, final thing, and we won't even have to mention tomorrow's call. What we're doing with Aidita, that's an adjustment for the future, is whereas in the past we've worked with her and like she's pitched an idea and they've just run with it, we're now long distance producing with her like more actively. Like we're asking for scripts. We're asking to make sure that it's got all the beats and everything that we want it to be. So it's sharpening the the guitar basically, tuning it better so that it plays with the exact ring that we feel is stronger. So we've been making adjustments, and this is just part of the
What I
process.
what I would say is that, to Rachel's point earlier, hers hits good notes. So I wouldn't over tweak it, overthink it. She's done, like to your point. She's the Meryl Streep of Minivelas. She's done 300 of these things where just being a part of them, um, you learn something. So I wouldn't try to teach the teacher in that in some cases.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're like over editing people's work and I'm telling you that when I saw them, to me they're very that they fit what a novela is.
But
So
believe it or not, and Raman can tell you, we've actually been very actively coaching her to that point too, because she didn't even want to do them. She was like,
oh, but let me but what but you are but
I'm
the
like,
ones that we're producing in English are not good like hers. So why are we editing her? And then we have like the runs we've read are like skits, like
yeah, no, we
and
listen.
I'm gonna keep like I'm not gonna, be the yes person here all the time. Where you're you have to apply what you're telling her into our content in English then, because we're not hitting it in English.
Well, we haven't done any melodrama in English at all. We've kind of assigned that she's the melodrama queen for us. We
Right.
We really need to translate that to US Hispanic because
Mm.
it can be great content. I just don't it doesn't resonate with me.
Which one? The Spanish, hers?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
mean, cute, but I mean, I'm different. I'm a different demo, true.
I get it because I mean I grew up with it, so I when I saw it, I got it. You know, for English, I feel like the stuff we've had is very skit, so
Yeah.
it's not reading like soap opera. Even if it's like a comedy soap opera, like Desperate Housewives, those were comedy soap operas, right? They're long, they're not like Minivela, but those were comedic, and I'm not getting that. I'm getting lots of like one-liners and skitty and
Yeah.
very
I think we're trying to
stereotypical
do
stuff.
more
And
like
that's why I want to
Cholita and
understand.
Cholos, right?
I want to
Randy?
understand budget because we spent all this money on skits, basically. All
Mhm.
these production budgets have gone to skits that really aren't moving the needle for what our initial purpose was.
we have not been.
I think the idea behind that, right, Manny, is that if the skit took off, if it got a lot of engagement, we
What's
would
happening in America?
produce more along that line. with
What's
that
happening in
particular.
America did very well, guys. I don't know what you
Which
guys
one?
what we did with what's happening in America. Whatever Red has done well.
But I know, but you have the consumer and then you have the brand. Are you telling the brand that that's like a Minivela? Because they might the consumer is
Not a
going to see it
Minivela.
maybe like a skit,
Yeah.
and they're gonna resonate. But then you're trying to sell it as like a short
It's all shows.
novela.
It's
So
it's a show. It's an ongoing show with characters that are recurring and have different
Yeah.
situations.
What's happening now is, but not all the other stuff.
no.
Again, what's happening now is not the only thing that he's produced. What Rachel's talking about is all the other stuff. Because I
I
think
mean,
that,
I'm only seeing things in fragments, and so
right, of the
yeah.
things that he's produced, the closest thing to a show for us, I believe, is what's happening now.
Mm.
That and what's that one? Ride or Die.
Like you have one, I didn't even see it on the pin, and it's Hispanics be like. You couldn't be any more skit in social
hate
media
it.
than that. That's
I
the one.
hated that headline because that's really
Very,
that's what's
Being
happening.
Latino.
No. Yeah.
yeah,
Both
it is being Latino.
Did you see, Rami? Do you see what I'm talking about?
I completely understand. The issue is that Red will not collaborate on a post with us unless it's his edit to his liking so it could fit his content to his audience. So he is very particular.
He changed the headline.
Me.
He called it a B. It was supposed to be what's happening in America, and he changed it to Hispanics be like. And we're like, bro, that's gonna sound like a skit. It's exactly
Yeah.
what I hate it, but it still performed very well. Very, very well. And it's still performing. It's still
Yeah,
getting
the one that he put up had over 100,000 views.
no, it has a lot more views than that. It has like
The
150,000.
one, the baby shark ones. Who did those? Where did those come from?
Those were salvaging the day that the freaking movie theater was, didn't allow us to do it, and I forgot what happened, but it was did it with Red. That one really was more
Those were on the spot improvised microvelas.
yeah, totally improvised. Baby Shark, and what was the other one? The Cafecito, You're One of Us or something like that.
Yeah, one of us, which is the cafecito, and we also did She's Got Game.
And don't eat my
No, the croqueta.
yeah, the croqueta one was pretty cute.
Yeah, but again, Red is we're finally at the point where we're in a good place with Red, but he's been out for a couple weeks, dealing with a couple things in his family and stuff. So we've been on standby on that. All right, guys, I think we should conclude. I think it's a productive call. I have some great homework to do. I
Did
will
we finish what you needed, Alex?
Well, if we end up with this production I'm sorry, with this distribution model, then yes, if we go back and that the octopus make it into the grid that we talked about,
Okay.
I think that works. I think that's what they're looking for. As when they're looking at, if we're producing this show, how are you going to bring it to the public? I think that grid that we talked about and those decisions that Manny says he's going to go look for more information on is what we need to fill that first question. We still have to talk about the monetization. You and I can talk about that and the grid that you put together. And the other part, and then the last part of that is this whole how long will it take? So from idea to distribution, that pipeline of distribution and I'm sorry, that pipeline of development and production is the third thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a production development call that we would have to have with Frank and Rami.
So when can you get your side of it, those 2 points, Manny, so that we can get back efficiently to Anna? Or not efficiently, but
No, I could I on some of the most everything here that we talked today about, I could probably get it by tomorrow, most likely have it by tomorrow. In terms of the production, what is it? The production and development. I can get that by Friday as a draft, and then we can fine tune it together.
is that timely enough, you think, Alex? Probably
Yeah, we
so.
just have to be ready. We have to be ready to put it on the screen on Thursday when we talk.
Yeah, we need to have
So
a beautiful
to me,
presentation. with
to
all
me,
the-
there has to be. It's basically 3 slides. We need the distribution slide, the model for bringing the content to the consumer. We need the slide that's that full Gantt chart that goes from idea to distribution, and then we need the monetization explanation and rationale and chart, however we want to lay it.
Didn't we provide a Gantt chart to her, Efra? I mean,
No,
you sure?
no, Manny, we haven't produced a Gantt chart for anything.
Hold on. Hold on. I know you might be surprised.
We gave her something that was kind of
I did.
spreadsheet, but
No, I gave her something that's hold on. Yeah, mm, I'm not making it up. I had never heard that word Gantt until like last week. I'll look for it, but I'm pretty sure we have
For like the government pitches, we have to put those in there. Because they even for social media, they want to see what the whole production idea is for the whole year.
Yep.
Just in a pitch. So I can't even imagine like, what they're gonna expect from you guys.
Well, it's in this case, it's more of it's a much tighter situation because what we're talking about them is in this test would be what does that universe look like for one show, right? So if they're giving us X amount of dollars for one show, what can they expect from a timing perspective to go from the idea development pipeline? What does it look like once we start distributing it, and when can I expect my money back from a monetization standpoint? Right, in that order. So for that one show.
Ooh, child.
there you go, bro.
What are you showing here?
That's his Gantt.
Yeah, babe.
And it's a revised Gantt.
Yes,
It's not just an initial Gantt.
exactly.
So what are we talking about here?
But what is it showing?
It's showing from script to
you not see?
marketing and delivery.
Rough cut of some.
Okay, then Rame, you those that list right there. I CC'd you on that email if you want to send that to Brenda so she can customize it.
Yeah, and I think we simplify it a little bit because there's a lot of in between steps here that are not permits, insurance, location, storyboard, shot list, pre-pro. That's all pre-pro, right? So
What we need
yeah.
is
What are the actual steps that we want to show?
Now, here's the thing too, that this, Rachel, more specific for you, I'll be able to narrow it more. Like I could give you the minivelas that are gonna be going out, but
that's what we need.
I won't be able to give you episodes because I won't know that until I edit them. So I don't know how many cut downs I'll have yet.
The one thing that I think you might want to talk about adding to this is the product inclusion. How that
Why?
fits into the Gantt.
Isn't that part of production?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's part of production.
Yeah, they give you the product, you include it, it's integrated into the show.
It's got to be part of script, I think.
I think a decision that we have to make, guys, is I feel confident and comfortable with Johnny um being a producer with us, and I would like for to work with him. I'm gonna kind of like, I don't know how much he would charge us. I'm sure he would be very reasonable, by the way, but I feel very confident if he was a part of it as well.
To do what? I'm sorry, Manny.
To
Co-produce.
co-produce with us like we did in with Cholita. We had a very good chemistry working with Johnny, and he works well with Refain and Rame, myself.
Yeah, that'll come down to a budget conversation at the end of the day. I mean, if
Yeah.
it makes sense from a resource standpoint, a money standpoint, I think, offloading some of that stuff from Rame, that's overwhelmed, from you that's overwhelmed. Yeah, great. Let's have a line producer that's seeing it from beginning to end. But
Well, here's what
that doesn't have to be included. That doesn't have to be included in anything we're talking to P&G about.
Right. Yeah, that's up to you, Manny. I mean, who you want to co-produce with and who's going to direct, all that kind of stuff. That's on you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty, gentlemen. I have
Maybe you can get
homework.
Sylvia to come back and make another. She did a great job, right?
Hey, she's the Tiger Queen, bro. I love that woman.
She gets the job done.
Efrain will kill him.
He's cringing right now.
If I tell her that she's working with us again, he'll be like, you'll have a heart attack. But I love working with her, and I would love to work with a Latina to do that. So absolutely. I'm all right, man. This is very productive. I want to take a shower, and I got to turn off my brain because I've been working a lot of hours today.
Okay, cool. I'm walking into a meeting at the girls' school, so we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, call me
Bye.
in the morning. I have a couple questions about some other stuff.
Yeah,
What-
we'll talk about P&G.
No, Gintech.
Oh, and remember we have the cricket call tomorrow, guys.
Yeah,
The cricket
yeah.
stadium.
Have a cricket call?
They're
Yes,
back.
actual cricket
back.
with some
It's
Indians.
cricket like in
Oh.
in
The sports.
game to
Oh.
sport.
Okay.
Yeah, she was like, "What?"
I came back.
We need to go and talk to those people again and figure out how to get them back somehow.
Oh, we're
So-
gonna make the effort. Don't
Yeah.
worry. All right.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.